Namaste viewers, welcome to Gnanadegula channel. Uh, Under questions and then questions section, there was a question by one of our subscribers that did Ravana really have 10 physical heads? This is an excellent question and a very important one to understand the symbolic depth of Hindu mythology, Hindu Ramayana and Ramayana, particularly Ramayana here. Let's go through in detail about this aspect, but before we go to the details, I request you to please like, share and then subscribe to my channel. Normally we see the image of Ravana or the carving of Ravana. Wherever you see Ramayana, we will see Ravana with 10 heads. It's one of the most iconic representations in Indian, can say, mythology. But was it meant literally or symbolically? So there are two kinds of interpretations. The first interpretation is symbolic interpretation, that is most widely accepted in the Vedantic and scholarly circles. The 10 heads are not literal but symbolic. They represent 10 qualities or facets of Ravana's mind, ego and personality. All these three put together, The 10 heads are said to symbolize Kama, first one, lust; Krodha, anger; Lobha, greed; Moha, attachment; Mada, pride; Matsarya, envy; Manas, the mind; Buddhi, intellect; Chitta, the subconscious; Ahankara, ego. This is how they describe this 10 aspects, 10 different things, Kama, Krodha, Lobha, Moha, Mada, Matsarya, Mano, Buddhi, Chitta, Ahankara. All these 10 aspects, 10, they are all highly, they are very bad qualities. These are considered as 10 enemies of our soul or of our Atma, of our this thing, in many yogic and spiritual traditions. So Ravana, he was very immensely learned, very powerful. From many things, he was he was no match to anybody. He was a very, very learned scholar, very great scholar. But he was consumed by these traits, these 10 traits. Kama, Krodha, Lobha, Moha, Mada, Matsarya, Mana, Buddhi, Chitta, Ahankara. All these 10 traits he had. So these 10 heads, they are a metaphor for his uncontrolled desires and mind. This is how the philosophical people look at it. Now, the mythological, literal interpretation, as in Puranas or folk renditions, folk traditions, all those things. Some versions, especially in the folk traditions, are specific stories in Puranas, describe Ravana as physically having 10 heads. So these stories suggest Ravana performed intense penance and received boons from Lord Brahma, gaining 10 heads and 20 arms. The heads were said to come and go. They were coming whenever he wanted, it would attach and then it would go. And were mystically manifested to reflect his vast knowledge of the Dasha, 10 directions. all these 10 directions, 8 Ashtadik and then Urdhva and Adha, that is upper and then the lower, all these 10 diks, Dashadik. He had a very vast knowledge that represents. He could see and think from almost 10 perspectives. It made him extremely intelligent, but it also made him proud and arrogant. This version is more poetic and devotional, serving to like this, the listener with Ravana's power and eventual downfall due to his ego. So now, what does this? What is the message? My message is important to us rather than whether he had 10 heads or 1 head or no head or whatever it is. What is the message to us? The message is whether literal, symbolic. The 10 heads of Ravana represents the internal battle every human faces. Despite his brilliance, despite his lineage, the Brahminical wisdom, despite so many things, Ravana was destroyed by his inner enemies. The very qualities symbolized by his 10 heads. Those things, which quality that destroyed him. So this story reminds us that true greatness lies not in power of knowledge alone, but in self-control, humility and dharma. Yes, with this we conclude this episode and the answer to this question. I hope this was quite satisfactory. The answer was, please like, share and then subscribe to our channel. Thank you, viewers. Please post your comments in the comment box. Thank you.